Maybe I'm Casey, maybe I'm not.
Very excited to have my friend Will BLACKMON on the podcast again. We've had you on before. In person. Yeah, well, you know, it's different times. We're in new times now. You spend a lot of time on Zoom, as do all of us. You probably spend more than most of us, though, because you have a very exciting business called the Wine MVP, and you're wearing that hat now. Obviously an NFL vet, but a very, so I have some Wine MVP merch. I have
You definitely support it. I will say that you wholeheartedly support it in the beginning. Appreciate that.
Okay. So I'm still supportive. I ordered one of your subscription boxes, and it was Dwayne Wade's wine. And I love the rosé. It's very good, which is not surprising because Will is excellent with wine because it's his passion. So he's not going to send some trash in the subscription box.
But also, if D Wade asked to partner up, I'm not going to turn that down too. But no, in all fairness, I'm like, okay, your wine better not be weak either, which I knew it wasn't because he has Jason Palmer, who's a legendary winemaker in Napa, so he's good.
Okay. So unless it's someone super important, you're gonna make sure that it's good.
Listen, we can work it. I'm like, the wine it's all right, but it's.
Listen, I'm not knocking the hustle. I enjoyed it. I thought they were both great. It was a cab and rosé. I enjoyed the rosé more, and I recommend it. And you sent a nice wine opener, which not all wine openers are really good.
That was it's more like a weapon. I think it's pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. No, it's a really nice one, and I needed one because I ruined my other one because I drink a lot of wine. But so you can check out thewinemvp.com and the Wine MVP podcast, and follow Will on social media at Will BLACKMON. I dropped on the I guess it wasn't a podcast. It was the Instagram live with you and T.O. And T.O. has some wine as well. It's fun. It's kind of funny, actually. You should check it out because Will is always drinking wine on it. And
it was supposed to be 30 minutes, and then T.O. started drinking. And also, I love T.O. because he definitely gets sensitive with a lot of stuff. And so we just kept going. I think we went for a whole hour.
Yeah, he's got opinions. You know, we all do opinions.
That's your sweatshirt opinion. Look at you.
Yeah, this is actually my friend's company from Pittsburgh. So, you know, I'm a supportive person. I like to support my peoples. So, big news. This has been a really active NFL offseason. Last year was too, and I like this.
What though? There hasn't been much movement.
But it's just speculation. Speculation is fun.
No, big move. No, I take that back. There hasn't been a lot of movements, but there has some like massive movements, like with Wentz and Watt already. So,
Wentz and Watt, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then there's conversations about lots of other guys. But let's start with JJ Watt. So I thought for sure that he was going to one of the.
Don't say Pittsburgh.
No, I actually didn't think he was going to go to Pittsburgh. I thought for sure he was going to Buffalo or Green Bay because I thought he wanted to go, or felt like he wanted to go, or maybe we all just wanted him to go to a contender where he would be, you know, kind of the piece.
Right. You think at this point, and from how I see it, once a guy has achieved everything on a personal level, it's like, okay, I want to get a ring now. And right, we thought he would go to somebody who was closer than Arizona, but maybe, I don't know.
Well, Arizona's a great place to live.
Great.
Especially right now.
Affordable place to live.
JJ Watt is not a single man. He has a wife, and her input is, I'm sure, valued in this move as well. And I'm sure he talked to DeAndre Hopkins and other guys on the team. And, you know, he came from a very toxic situation, and Arizona is not a toxic situation. Now, they're not contenders, but sometimes, you know, just quality of life is worth something too. He said reportedly his list of desirables was a quarterback, personnel, and the money. And look, he got paid. And which, like, what do I care? I'm not paying JJ Watt. Right. Make whatever you want to make. And I have no problem with people making as much as they can make, because this is your business. This is what you do for a living. So, you know,
and you don't
make as much as you want.
You don't do it for a very long time.
So make what you want. But I would have liked to see him go somewhere where he could possibly make money and be a contributing factor to them being a contender.
Right.
I don't think that Arizona is there yet, but what did you think?
Yeah, I don't think they're there yet either. It's still a wide open division. I think that's where it's hopeful that it's still a wide open division, but I don't know if they are the leaders to come out of the conference. That's the tough part about it. You know, I feel like the same teams might be back at it now. If anybody who has, you know, put themselves in a better position, it probably is LA. You know, I love the Stafford move there, and then no one knows what's going to happen in San Fran because their window is damn near closing, and then Seattle is so confused right now. So it's such a weird situation, but I don't think just JJ going there alone is like gonna just boost them ahead.
So the contract we've been talking about, this is the contract that will never end, is Dak Prescott. And you know, again, I don't like talking about people's money because I want Dak to make as much money as he can. And again, I'm not paying Dak Prescott, so what difference does it make to me?
That.
Why?
Because everyone's in everyone's pockets.
Why do I care what Dak Prescott makes?
Or anyone, you know,
right.
just to go off track, like there was a conversation on, you know, the other network about, you know, Tom Brady keeps taking less because of what his wife makes. I'm like, that should be beside the point. I hate when people bring up Giselle because she makes more or whatever it is, that's why Tom keeps taking less. Tom maybe just wants to win, dude. Like that's just that's a prerogative.
It's easier to take less when you know have that kind of money. But Tom's made a lot of money as well.
And Tom's still making 7 figures. It's not like he's like, oh, you can pay me $600,000. He's still making
right.
He's still making 8 figures. Excuse me, 8 figures. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Anyhow,
no, I mean it plays a factor, but I don't care what anyone's making. Like, and I don't like the idea that where the Tom thing gets testy for me is like just because Tom is taking less money doesn't mean that other people should be encouraged to take less money in order to win. Not those kind of pay cuts. You know, you can be reasonable and do a team-friendly deal where we're talking about the difference between like 5 and 7 million when you're already making 30 or 40 million. Like, you know, what is that going to factor in or not?
Right.
But again, like I'm with you. I don't like talking people's money, but it's a salary cap league. So you do have to consider that.
Yeah, you can find everyone's contract online. So you might as well talk about it.
Right. But you know, it's complicated. So Dak is saying now he wants to be paid like and respected, and he's like in the Mahomes range. I don't, you know, my thing about it is when he gets to that number, and again, I don't care what Dak Prescott makes. I think it's great if they pay him what Patrick Mahomes makes. The difference it makes to me. But like the top paid quarterbacks in the league have all at least won a Super Bowl or are Jared Goff gone to a Super Bowl.
Right. So
does that mean anything to you?
That is a huge deal because you look at it like, hey, are we going to invest in this guy, you know, because he's going to do that for our franchise. And in case when you say Mahomes money is like, listen, he's going to be there. And yes, they have great players, but I feel like even with a new wave of certain players, like he gives them a chance. And that was the one thing about, you know, playing 12 years is like, I've been in situations where I had Favre and it was different. Like, okay, on defense, you know, you just need to hold this team to like 21 points because he can put 30. I play with Aaron Rodgers, same thing. Like, okay, we got a guy over there. We're not even looking at, yes, he had great receivers and other players, but we know we got 12. You know, I was in Seattle briefly for training camp, but same thing, Russell. And then I was in New York with playoff Eli, who we know we had, and I say playoff Eli because we had Eli. And so it's different, man, when you have a guy just as a whole organization, you're like, okay, we know when all else fails, like this guy can like help us. Right. And I don't know if that's the case for Dak. Yes, he will put up amazing numbers. And I played in Washington when Kirk put up amazing numbers. And Kirk, you know, he also encouraged Dak to keep playing that tag game. You're gonna get guaranteed money regardless, and it's gonna go way up even the year after this. But like, is from an organization, is this the guy? Is this a great investment? I just got off a call before talking to you right now. The guy's looking at my business. Okay, is this worth the investment? Am I gonna get the return? You know, dealing with you. So I think it's tough. I would probably, I don't know. I can't say I would go to Kirk Cousins' route, you know, but I understand why.
Well, Kirk is the standard for getting that money. I respect him.
Look, he said, tag me all day. I'm it.
I will take 35 million guaranteed. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm gonna go get this other long-term deal afterwards anyway. And Washington's been struggling at the quarterback position ever since.
He's up again.
Yep. So Russell Wilson's unhappy in Seattle.
Is that a fact?
It seems that way. There's a lot of chatter.
I haven't heard him say I am upset. That's the thing.
I mean, come on, Will. We know he's unhappy. Like, all these stories aren't out here. Stories get out when someone wants them out.
Because other people are saying it for him. Because here's the thing. So in fairness, I have not seen. Last time I've seen or got to hang out with Russell is when he first met Sierra. Okay, this was different Russell. He first met her, and I remember we were he flew the team to Hawaii for like the off-season training, and that's like I remember he was like FaceTiming her, and he was like so excited because like he liked her a lot, obviously. Mm-hmm. And Russell was different then, so I don't know how he is now. Obviously, we see all his like social media stuff and his commercials of him getting all swag, and it's super funny. But it's interesting to. I just could not see him like really pushing back on Pete and John Snyder, like, hey, I want to be involved in this. I want to start doing this, like demanding stuff. Like, I don't see that because he is so pro Seahawk and just.
No, he's been great. He's been great with that. But there's enough stories out there that he wants to be involved. He wants a better offensive line, which is just fair. He's on pace to be sacked more than any.
The stories fly all over the place. You know that.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming then that he wants some more input.
He misses Max Unger. That's what he misses. I think Max used to give him a lot of the answers when he was at center. Like, hey, this guy's coming. Okay, so make sure you go that way. Hey, this guy's coming. Make sure you go this way. And then also too, like everyone is looking at like, gosh, the line's been struggling this and that. Well, it's tough. It's tough to replace. Again, the Legion of Boom, and then you have Marshawn. Like those played a huge factor in what.
Yeah, but he's said like he's not requesting a trade, but he's open to the Bears, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Cowboys.
That's so funny to me.
I mean, that'll happen. Like I think it's.
I don't want to go anywhere, but I don't mind these guys.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, so he obviously is unhappy with some factor of what's going on in Seattle. I don't see him not actually being there anymore. But he's not going anywhere.
No. And if he does, I've said I would not be surprised if he was in Miami.
But that wasn't on his list.
It doesn't have to be. You don't get to go where you want to be traded.
He has a no trade clause. There's no trade clause. Okay, so then Deshaun. Do you think that Deshaun ends up? Because Houston's saying they're not trading him. Houston's a shit show, and pretty much everyone is on Deshaun's side in this situation.
You can swear on the Joy Pod?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna bleep it, but yeah, I can't do a whole podcast and not curse. I have a curse an hour per day.
Deshaun's clearly upset. It's crazy to think that Deshaun, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, and JJ Watt could potentially all be gone from Houston. Like, my gosh, they're really trying to start. They might as well change the team name and move locations too.
Do you think that they actually trade him?
I mean, if they get what they want.
I think that they have to at this point.
You have to, yeah. No, it makes no sense in having an expensive, disgruntled quarterback there. I think just by nature, say if he did stay there, I mean, I wouldn't even show up if I was him.
Well, have you ever been in a situation, and I know the quarterback position is obviously very different and we treat it differently, but have you been in a situation where it's just been so unbearably toxic that you're like, just get me the out of here? Like, I'm not gonna be able to function.
No, listen, I was unfortunately in Washington when all that stuff was going down with the GM and the owner and and Bruce Allen and all that stuff. It got to the point where it literally, I told my wife Shauna, I was like, who says hi, by the way?
Hi, Shauna.
I was like, dude, honestly, I never want to get cut, but if they did, I'd be so relieved to go home. This is my last year because it was so much bullshit going on. It wasn't even about football anymore. It was just about the organization. There was so many toxic things going on in there where it's for me to not want to play right now is crazy because playing in the NFL is the only thing I wanted to do. That was my dream job. It's all I wanted to do. And when it got to the point where it was gosh, I just had a pretty good season last year, and then they brought in like David Bruton, they brought in DJ Swearinger, we got Sua, and they're trying to bring all these guys in, and they're trying to fix all this stuff, and then Jay Gruden and Bruce Allen and Scott McCloughan are on the same page. We got this going on with Kirk. We got all kinds of things. Like, nothing made sense. And I was like, dude, like, I don't even think I want to play football, not just here, but anymore.
Why do you think that happens? Because to me, whenever organizations or companies start to get dysfunctional, people always look at the easy targets like the players and coaches. But to me, like with anything in life, it starts at the top.
No question.
Everyone always looks at the bottom or like the easy people to pick off and move. But like, in order to have a dysfunction, it's like a family. Like, if the family is dysfunctional,
right? If the parents aren't getting along, it's going to affect the kids,
right? Like, and not that that's like, I'm not calling the athletes children. I'm just saying our owners set the tone, and the decision makers set the tone, and there's a hierarchy, and they create the environment and what's tolerated and what's not tolerated. So when you have a habitually dysfunctional situation, not a moment, not an instance, but a habitually dysfunctional situation, I look at the top, I look at the ownership, I look at the GM, and then go down from there, because they're the ones that are making the decision for what's tolerated. Is that the wrong way to look at it?
No, that's 100% accurate, because right, when you build a house, the foundation is at the bottom, but when you're building a sports team or franchise, the foundation is at the top. And the places where I have had a lot of fun and we were well ran, like Green Bay, is always doing very well. I was in New York, which was doing very well. I was in Seattle for a little bit, and they were trying some things in Jacksonville. But everything starts from the top. I remember I had a really cool conversation with Chris Ballard, the GM of the Colts. And he was like, look, he goes, it starts with me, man. He goes, I need to set the tone for everyone. I need to set it if you're cutting the grass, if you're taping ankles, whoever you are in this building, I need to set the tone overall so people know what we really mean for this. And so when I saw that, I was like, this dude gets it, because it's about the team. It's about football. It's not about like how we look to the media, how we look according to politics. That's not the case at all. And again, I mentioned that's how Washington was. It was not about football. It was, you had dysfunction between the owner and the president and the general manager and the head coach. And we all saw that and felt that. And yes, I'm gonna bring back the parent example. Like, I try to do my best not to argue in front of our kids, because they see that like, oh, like, what's going on with them? What's going on with that? Or I've seen arguments like, okay, what's going on? And we got to see all that stuff as players. Not, I'm saying like just arguments. We knew something wasn't right. And when that's the case, it shows up on the field. That's why I don't know how in the hell 2015 we won the division. It was, I think, because we had a bunch of grown men on the team. We're like, oh, okay, we can handle it. It is what it is. But with a younger franchise, you can't have that, and all the teams that's why the same teams are always in it. The same organizations, the same people they're ones that can handle all kinds of issues or drama. It's always going to be Green Bay. You're going to get Pittsburgh. It was New England, and it's the same people who are always going to be in it.
Yeah, you're right. And then you look across all spectrums of sports and companies for that matter. When you have great leadership, then it makes it easier for everyone to do their jobs. Because like Chris said, he set the tone, and then people follow that. And there's an energy. And like that's what Tom Brady, I feel like, brought to Tampa Bay. It's like they had talent, they had the potential, but you got to have the discipline, and it's got to start with your leader. So we see what happens when you do that.
He went there. They were a pretty good football team. He went there and taught them how to win, and that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's similar to LeBron James when he left Miami and went back to Cleveland.
Taught them how to win.
Take the blueprint. I'm glad you didn't push back on that. That was a test.
I have zero LeBron hate. None.
I don't have LeBron hate anymore either. I was salty about Cleveland.
Anymore.
But when he left Cleveland, I don't have it in me to root for a Cleveland team. So plus when LeBron came to Miami, Cleveland fans were the worst.
Yeah.
They were the worst. And I'm not going to forget that. I don't forget it. LeBron is better than me. He's a better person.
I have nothing. I think LeBron is incredible, and what he does.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest superstar we've ever had in the history of sports. Think about it. He's been in the limelight since he was 16 years old. his biggest scandal is that he raised a bunch of money for
you know what?
charity
I
and
would say
and
that.
like publicly broke up with the city of
No, I
Cleveland.
would say that biggest superstar, yes, because on any stage, even since he was 13, on any single stage, he had every reason to crumble. And he not only like lived up to the hype, he surpassed it. And there are so many people who deal with that public pressure, and he's been the best player at every single level. And he is still the best player at this level. And he's in his damn near 20th year. I can say yes, the biggest superstar, because on every single stage he has lived up to every aspect. I can see that. Yes.
Yeah, he's the greatest. And the people that don't like him, like Zlatan.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He needs to just stick to what he's doing best and what he's doing.
We don't have enough time to get into that, but
then bring me back next month and we can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, just what the ever, dude. I don't really I don't take people seriously. We can do it for 1 minute and then I'll let you go because I know you're super busy building your wine empire.
Oh my God, like that, like you wasted my time.
Well, no, I mean, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. You're a very busy person.
I'm saying I'm gonna let you go. I know you gotta go, Bill. Like, come on now. All right, we're homies.
I'm trying to be courteous of your time, Will.
And that, but you don't gotta tell. You don't tell the public like I'm over here. I'm giving you the Dame time, like Joy. Like, keep going, girl.
No, Will is not rushing me. Will is not rushing me. I don't. I've talked about this a lot in the podcast. But I don't take people seriously who talk about athletes and say you should stick to sports, or you should only focus on your sport, or don't, like, you're doing too much if you speak out against racism or social justice.
It's hypocritical as soon as they say it.
It's fucking moronic. First of all,
because you're already talking about a subject you're not well versed in. So
well, I mean, that's one thing, but like so people say it to me all the time, like, oh, like, stick to sports. Okay, cool. Do I, where's my tax exempt? Do I not get to not pay taxes because I work in sports? Because I didn't get that notice. If that's the case,
they tell you
perhaps
sports
all the time. I'll consider, not weighing in on political issues if I am tax exempt for working in sports. I still have to pay taxes. I still have to follow the laws of this country. My family still has to do it. My friends. I have to deal with all of the rules and sanctions and laws and whatever is going on with COVID right now, guidelines.
They're affected by government things daily, so it's
every day. So I'm born and raised here. Even if I wasn't, this is where I live. Like, I'm allowed to have an opinion about it. A, B, sports only exist in the state that they are today because athletes didn't just stick to sports.
Right.
Every year, I see people posting quotes of Muhammad Ali, like it's like cute or something. And he was one of the most controversial and well-known and most impactful human beings, not just an athlete, in the history of planet Earth. So just miss me with all this stick to sports bullshit. Nonsense. It's nonsense.
Listen, I don't really speak on it unless I'm well educated and I'm passionate about it. Otherwise, I'm chilling.
Yeah, same. And then educate yourself if you want to talk about it, of course. But like,
feisty.
I'm pretty what?
You're feisty. You throw the dukes up. You like to throw the dukes up.
I don't mind fighting now. But I really I think that it's important when you are passionate about something and you believe in it.
Right.
To talk about it. And I think if you don't know something about it, don't talk about it. And I also think that we're in a space and time in life now where you're like, if you don't agree with someone, that you're the enemy. And it's like, no, that's not true. We can have conversations and maybe we don't agree at the end of the day, but maybe we have different perspectives. There's certain things we have to agree on, like, racism is wrong. If you're on the other side of that, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Right. There's no other way. It is what's wrong.
Right. Well, this was fun. Thank you so much for coming by again. Hopefully next time we're in person and the world is back to normal. Make sure you check out thewinemvp.com. Will Blackmon is the wine MVP. Are you officially a sommelier yet?
I have my level 1 certification through the Court of Masters. I have my level 2 through the WSET, which is called the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. And I literally just took my level 3 exam last week in Napa. If you saw my Instagram, I was in Napa. Not hanging out. I was taking a hard ass exam
When do you find out if you pass?
in like a few months.
Oh, dang, it takes that long?
Yeah. So let's just put it this way. I'm kind of studying again just in case.
Oh, you don't have confidence?
Oh,
I think you passed it.
That was hard. It was hard, dude. It was hard.
Well, best of luck to you in that. And check out the Wine MVP podcast and follow Will on social media at Will Blackmon, and subscribe to the Wine MVP box. It's an awesome subscription.
So funny. You're funny, dude. All right. Thank you.
Was that the right way to say it? Did I f it up?
You're good.
Okay. All right. Tell Sean I said hi, and stay safe.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks, Will.